Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, November 20th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Number 2, roll call, starting from my left.
Evenson here.
Giardino here.
Hasdall here.
Samuelsford here.
Reppin here.
Number 3, certified posting of the meeting.
I certify that on Monday, November 17th, 2025, the agenda for the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, November 20th was posted at the Rome Town Hall at 11:20 a.m., Quick Trip LLC 11:44 a.m., Nakusa Port Edward State Bank 11:48 a.m., and emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 11:33 a.m.
Thank you. Number 4, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizen comments, were there any turned in?
Nope.
No action contemplated except possible referral to future agenda. Number 7, information updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements.
I have nothing.
I've got a
Wow.
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
I don't have anything. Number 8, department committee reports. You all had it in the packets. Is there any questions or any highlights we should be looking at? I did have one. Jason, as long as you're here. There were some issues, I think, with the hunters over in Camelot, some trespassing issues. Are you familiar with that? The deer?
I spoke with the guy that organizes the hunt, and
Better come up.
I believe at this point they were resolved. I reached out to the guy that organizes the hunt, and he sent an email out to that group telling them to make sure they're getting permission. And
Somebody said it was him. He was one of them.
yeah, that I don't know. I had heard that too, but his response email didn't sound like it.
Yeah, of course.
It was lecturing the other hunters. So
Okay, good. Thank you. Anybody have any other questions? I don't think anything. Been busy. Okay. All right, discussion possible action on the following items. Discussion possible action approval of the November 13th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the November 13th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 10, discussion of possible action, checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries. Approved checks number 49933 to 50010 totaling $100,440.22. Auto payments totaling $97,075.58. State Social Security, Medicare withholding totaling $56,611.12. Payroll vouchers V24379 through V24583 totaling $156,362.62. And checks 21705 totaling $1,184.18. Receipts numbers 26923 through 27018 totaling $986,103.89.
Can you go a little bit faster so it don't take so long?
listen to this guy.
I'll try it next time. I'll try harder.
I'll make a motion to approve the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as stated.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 11, discussion of possible action, visit Rome's annual report.
Is this on? Yes. Okay. All right, I'm Lisa Kubis from, I'm the Executive Director of Visit Rome. For any of you that don't know this, Visit Rome is contracted by the town of Rome to manage the lodging tax dollars that come into the town.
I'm presenting our annual report, which is a requirement of that contract. Our mission statement is front and center here. I wanted to read that. Visit Rome promotes the diversity of the community's attractions in order to create economic prosperity and balanced growth for area residents. And I just wanted to mention, we truly try to keep our residents in mind with everything that we do at Visit Rome. Next slide, Jackie. Our staff and board of directors. Again, I'm the executive director. Chelsea Willard, who many of you probably know, is our associate director. Jillian Alekna is our marketing and events coordinator. Our board of directors includes Scott Bordeaux, Lucky Smolarek, Mary Briniarski, Cheryl Evenson. She is the Town of Rome board appointee. Jackie Cole, Tim O'Connor, Lindsay Scheider, Glenn Murray, Jordan Powell, and Tim Mitchell. And that our staff is 3 full-time staff. Right. Our 2025 projected spending breakdown. You can look at the pie chart. 100% of Visit Rome's funding comes from lodging tax collected in Rome. Our lodging tax revenue is expected to increase by 10% in 2026, bringing our total funding to $1.21 million. Over 75% of the room tax is generated by Sand Valley, and then the remaining 25% comes from vacation rentals like the Eagle's Nest, the Lakes Inn, and other private rentals. In terms of the breakdown, you can see operations is at 11%. That would include things like rent, technology, our building, office supplies, events. That 3% is really what the events that we host. And mostly those are the concerts, the expenses for the concerts at the band shell. Wages is pretty self-explanatory. The other 3 pieces of the pie, I'll explain in later slides. Any questions on that breakdown? Okay. Next slide. Our grants and community funding in 2025 totaled about $168,000. I know there's a lot on this slide, but it really is an important one to get across. So we have some workforce development efforts. We paid for 15 students to go through a culinary certification program at Mid-State Technical College. We had 2 paid interns this year. And then we do have a partnership with Nakusa High School. We are on the advisory board for their career readiness. Chelsea and I are going into the classrooms and kind of giving speeches and how we've gotten to the point that we have in our careers. So we just started working with them a lot more. Our grant program, we do a new business support grant for $500. So businesses like Golden Ferret or the Tri-Lakes Motorsports business, they were given a $500 grant. And then we have our tourism grants. I've listed 4 that we approved this year. We're really thrilled about the WTA. Excuse me. The WTA, we just awarded a $30,000 grant for facility upgrades. The bookmobile for the library for $10,000. Shermalot, we helped them buy a new truck for $3,000. 14 Mile Watershed, we gave a $4,000 grant. Event donations. So when we put on a concert, we actually pay for everything, the band, the beer, the beverage truck, and then we work with a nonprofit to they help us. A lot of times they sell raffle tickets, or they sell tickets for the beer, and then that nonprofit would get all the proceeds from that event. We also have multi-year commitments, $25,000 annually to the Rome Town Center development, and $25,000 to the Nano Bubbler initiatives. I did include the chart. I just wanted to show the WTA how many visitors they actually bring into the area. And you can see just the 3 of their big events. They're bringing in about 29,000 people to Rome. Um, 2025 tourism development, mostly it was just made up of Link the Lakes. That consists, I'm sure many of you are aware, consists of a tunnel under State Highway 13, a 1-mile trail with a bridge over the 14-mile creek. It does adhere to Wisconsin Bicycle Facility Design Handbook and is ADA compliant. It provides a safe space to walk, bike, and run, as well as a safe way to cross State Highway 13. What I didn't list on here, we really think it improves access to the Rome Town Center. And we are in discussions with Nakusa High School. Their students are going to be doing some artwork inside the tunnel.
Lisa, I was asked a question, how wide is that bike path? I don't know.
10 feet?
It's 10 feet? Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yep.
On that tunnel over there, are you guys gonna put up guardrails for 13? Because, I mean, there's a drop there, no?
Actually, we just went through a process with the DOT. Instead of the guardrails, they wanted us to address the, they call it the runoff zone. So the grading was pretty steep, and we had to bring in, well, our contractor, a ton of fill to not have it so steep.
But isn't that like a 10-foot drop there? The road goes, the path goes down, right? And then it goes
Right.
under the road.
Right.
So what's stopping a car if he goes off at 13, falling on the bottom, hitting that path? If he
At
goes off
that
the road?
exact location of the tunnel that they would turn into it.
Well, we're talking people that don't know how to
Yeah.
drive here.
No. The DOT, actually, we had no choice. They didn't want a guardrail. They wanted us to go the route of addressing the runoff zone instead.
Really?
If you go out and look at it, you probably understand a little bit better. I mean, the only way they're not going to like turn really quick to go over the tunnel and plunge down.
Okay,
It just seems
okay, I'm just curious.
okay. But it was what the DOT wanted. And if you've ever worked with the DOT, that's probably, you don't have many choices. So you can go to the next slide, Jackie. So Link the Lakes, I just wanted we had so many generous sponsors. I just wanted to read through the list really quick. The Legacy Foundation, Nakusa Port Edward State Bank, Sand Valley, Lake Arrowhead, DCM Landscaping, Coldwell Banker, Permar, Lake Sherwood Property Owners Associations, Evenson's Marine, Up North Brewing Company, Jewel Engineering, Papa Bears, Quick Trip, American Legion Post 65, American Legion Auxiliary, and the Wisconsin Trap Shooting Association. Just wanted to give kudos to them. I don't know if the project could have been done without the donation of land from the Pritzels, the Tomcheks, and Al Schmidt, because there were points in the trail that went out of the right-of-way, and so we needed to get their permission for a permanent easement.
It's a permanent easement then?
Yep. And then, of course, planning, execution, and maintenance support from the Town of Rome and Draft. And then I wanted to mention our community brick program is still active. So if anyone is interested in one of the bricks, those are some that are that we have. They're really nice laser engraved bricks. Next slide. So I just wanted to mention, I mean, I view it as part of tourism development, is maintaining the Bird City designation for Rome. Chelsea Willard does 100% of the work that's required for that. So in addition to the application, she hosts a migratory bird weekend of events. I don't know if anyone attended any of these, but some pretty cool events that are just bird themed. In addition to that, she does a Christmas bird count every year. So this will be our 7th annual that'll take place December 14th. Over the last 6 years, 11,740 birds have been counted, representing 45 different species. I did put her number up there if anyone is interested in being involved in that.
Do they have a list of the birds they
do.
saw?
Yep.
Do they have a Kirtland warbler on there by chance?
I'll have to, I can check.
You know where this is going.
Yes. We all do.
So we're involved in a lot of other events in Rome, some that we host. Again, Weekend for the Birds. I wanted to mention we host 4 concerts at the band shell, 6 next year. The cost for those concerts is about $5,000 each when all is said and done. We host Dash for the Dogs. We did a Walden Park pop-up event to raise awareness of Walden Park.
How many people are getting in at the band concerts on average?
Well, it varies. The prime ones, we had about 700. The ones later in the year were probably 300. The ones in September,
Impressive.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, they've been very well attended. Chelsea does monthly guided hikes on the trails around Rome. We hosted, I just thought this was very unique, we hosted a marathon swimmer that swam Lake Petenwell. It actually was our highest engaged social post of the year, that's why I mention it. So she swam 20 miles in under 10 hours on Lake Petenwell. So we co-host some events like the Halloween party, Christmas in Rome, the Veterans Luncheon, and then we sponsor, I would say we sponsor almost every event in this town. I mean, I can safely say that. Some are bigger than others, like the pond hockey tournament. We sponsor 25,000. James Beard is 10,000. Snow Blast, 3,000. Shermalot Water Ski Shows, 3,000. And then the Farmers Market for 2,500. Some of the marketing that we do is shown here. So we distribute approximately 7,000 visitors guides, either at trade shows, the farmers market, area businesses. We really take a lot of pride in our visitors guide. I think it's beautiful. A lot of people say it's like a coffee table book. Our hiking and biking maps were extremely popular this year, so we'll add the new trails in 2026, Link the Lakes, and then there's some new fat tire bike trails out at Sand Valley that'll be added. And then we do various ads in publications like Fun in Wisconsin. The sample is shown up there. So that's print. I wanted to mention we do a lot with Syracuse in terms of marketing. So I attended the Let's Ride Expo in Oshkosh, and Brian attended the Power Sports Show in Adams to promote the park. We really didn't have any collateral to take, so we developed a flyer, which is on the left side. Oh, sorry, Jackie. Yeah. So the left side just talks about all the trails at Syracuse, and on the bottom is a banner that we created to take to the trade shows. So we're also doing $500 a month on digital ad spend to help push people to the motorsports page on our website. So this year, that's resulted in 19,269 people that have been pushed to our website from those ads. So giving exposure to that park. All right, Jackie. So other digital marketing, those are our paid campaigns, the one that like we do for Syracuse. I've pictured some other ones. Right now we're doing an ice fishing campaign. So you can see 2 samples, YouTube and Google. We're pushing them to the ice fishing page on our website. We're also doing a group campaign, you know, trying to get groups here for you know, family holidays, family reunions, friends, getaways, things like that. Just wanted to mention that those are geo-targeted outside of a 60-mile radius of Rome. I get asked a lot, like, well, I never see your ads. Well, we're not trying to get you to come to Rome. We're trying to get people outside of the area. So a lot in Milwaukee, Chicago, Rockford, mostly south of here.
Lisa, can I ask a question about that? You know, when I was living in the city, we had, I don't know, if you remember that, the RV show at McCormick Place and the boat show
Yep.
and the camping show. Do you guys have like a booth if somebody goes out there to these shows to promote, you know, these shows bring in a lot of people.
We do.
Oh, you do have
I
a
actually
booth?
don't have it mentioned in here. It's impossible to mention everything that we
Oh,
do,
okay. I just
actually.
want to see if you went to these RV shows.
I didn't, no, not that RV show. We pay for golf pros to attend 3 golf shows, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, and Chicago. We've attended the Iowa RV and boat show, which is huge. So we attended that one for a couple years. And then every year I do the fishing expo in Madison with a fishing guide and Tim Mitchell, from Rome Outdoors. So we do that one as well. If anyone would like to attend shows on our behalf, that would. They're January, February, March, so you can only really
That's right.
do so many.
And it gets crowded.
Oh, and I just wanted to mention that, so these digital ads have pushed 188,045 people to our website. So those are paid ads. We do organic digital marketing too, which is really, those are like the unpaid initiatives. So you can see Facebook, we have almost 8,000 followers, over 8 million views of content that was in someone's feed or that they've played the video. We post daily. Our top 3 posts I always think are interesting are, again, that marathon swimmer, Link the Lakes construction start was a big one, and then Link the Lakes completion. So those were our top 3 engaged. Still doesn't compete with the flamingos that came a couple years ago. We have an Instagram page. Jillian has done a really nice job of growing that. And then we have about 18,000 people in our email database. We do an email weekly and then off-season bi-weekly. And we've sent out just over 400,000 emails this year. Any questions? Lastly, our strategic focus. So we have some pretty clear initiatives. Number 1 is strengthen Rome's position as a shoulder season destination. We all know we have a lot of people here in the summer, so it's the winter that we're trying to build. And to do that, Sand Valley has really developed some very nice winter events. They're pond hockey, James Beard, Wim Hof. They did add 2 more events this year as well. So we really support their off-season. And really, it's not just Sand Valley, it's everyone that's doing especially winter events. And we've really been pushing fishing the last couple of years. We just feel it's something you can do year-round, Snowmobiling is hard, so something like that is really hard to promote because we really don't have snow most of the time. But fishing seems to be just something we can promote year-round, and with Lake Petenwell there, I mean, it's a pretty top-notch fishing destination. Prioritize the expansion and development of new attractions and continue to build awareness of current attractions. This would include things like Link the Lakes, obviously. We are looking at different segments that we can do to add and expand upon those trails. Also, we've done a lot with the parks. Walden Park, we put that kayak rental unit there. We've helped with a lot of other of the assets there. Deer Accuse we're promoting all the time. Lake Arrowhead Public Beach. A couple years ago, we paid half of that new playset at Lake Arrowhead Beach. Third thing is support the development of new events and continue to build on existing ones. Again, we're prioritizing the off-season. Also, the utilization of the Rome Town Center, concerts, Stash for the Dogs, the Turkey Trot, the Farmers Market. To me, that's one way that Visit Rome can help with development of the Rome Town Center, is just continue to host events there. And then lastly, champion Visit Rome's vision and mission. Yeah. We really want to better people's understanding of our organization. Clearly, there's a lot of misconception. We found out during this Link the Lakes project. So really trying to educate people on how we're funded and what we're doing with the funding. So. Any questions?
You do anything with Derek Smith at Adams County Development? There might be some opportunities there with him. He's got a lot of contacts,
Okay.
so
In terms of,
economic development, he's the guy, go-to guy for the county.
okay. I mean, I know who he is.
Okay, yeah, there might be some opportunities there. I don't know,
Okay.
thought about it.
I could add, Derek Smith was involved with the town 2 years ago, but the last board did their direct involvement with him.
Okay.
And the Development Association and the town board, they stopped their connection with Derek. And so it might be something the board wants to raise to.
We've been meeting,
I
actually.
don't think Visit Rome is so much on economic development as the town provides
Yeah.
economic development, and Visit Rome promotes everything that is there.
Yeah, Karen's been down there once. I've been going the last couple months since I came on, so, yeah, it's there, but there could be some opportunities. I don't know. He's got contacts, so.
And I did have Derek Smith, he's a child organization at College of Sand Valley for a
Yes,
comprehensive
yep.
tour of everything, like
Yep.
you, some of you were on the tour.
Yep.
And so something developed out of that, some initiative, especially with the food pantry, we're trying to do more to support the Adamstown food pantry. Just a little tidbit of why there's not a current relationship with Derek Smith.
Well, there is now, so, yeah.
One last thing I did want to mention, just for anyone out there. So we're guided by state statutes and a very comprehensive audit that keeps us in check. We cannot use our funding for roads, for the transfer site, for cell towers, anything of that nature. So we get asked that a lot, like, why don't you help out with the roads? And it's just not within the state statute.
Anybody have any other questions or thoughts for Lisa? No?
Sorry,
Thank you.
hope that didn't take too long.
Thank you,
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right. I left off solar farm. Well, number 12, discussion of possible action, discussion with a Rome Town Center Subcommittee Chair regarding committee objectives. Tiffany.
Hello. I am Tiffany Sivecki, Chairwoman of the Rome Town Center Subcommittee. I am here just as we now have a full committee put back together. And so we're ready to kind of chug our wheels forward. And so before we started that forward launch, we wanted to kind of meet with the board and get a little clarity of maybe some specific things in the master. We're just not gonna call it a plan anymore, a master guide of different things that we can hone in on and get a little bit more detail changes to that so that we can put that work in, get it finished up and solidified and worked into the comprehensive plan as that becomes a finished product as well. Like I said, we're going to quit calling it the master plan. I think there's two things that really went wrong over the development of that. And that was not, number one, not giving enough detail, just really emphasizing the fact that it is a guide. It is one thing that we've really come across with, like, the CDA is bringing developers in, but we don't have a really good solid guide for them for what we're looking for. We know we're looking for something different in our path forward in the Rome Town Center specifically, but we can't detail to developers what that is. And so that's part of this. And just knowing that it is really a guide, nothing in there this is exactly what it's going to look like. And I think that was the second biggest mistake, was the picture that was put on it. Don't pay attention to that picture, we're changing it. So I think those are really kind of the biggest things that I really want to drive forward, and that we know and acknowledge things that are going to change. But just really keeping in mind that there have been different master plans that have been kind of put in motion in the past. And just knowing, just like then, those were guides, and as our town changes, we have to change our guide and to help move forward. So again, just really kind of looking, I think specifically we're looking for what are some of the 5-year and 10-year goals that the board would like us to keep in mind as we move forward with the plan so that we can work those into the plan. Now it's up to you guys.
Well, I'd say just for sure to stay within the zoning, what's already out there as to what businesses are allowed. That would be the easiest way to, without having to think about coming forward to all of a sudden you want to change zoning on something before they even start thinking.
Yeah, and definitely understand that. I think part of the plan overall is knowing that there are zones in the RTC that don't fit within what Rome itself is looking at. So we do know there are some changes, and there's changes being driven by the government that they're looking for as well. So I think just keeping all of that in mind and making sure that we're staying within that.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you have more thoughts. Just be nice, because I have a headache.
I agree with Tiffany, because, you know, we had our first meeting about, 2 weeks ago? And I think what we're trying to get is, from the board, is what kind of guidance, because we don't want to be like a shotgun all over the place. We want to be kind of directed and say, okay, this is what we're looking at for the Rome Town Center. And I want to put politics aside and say, look, what's the best for our community? I mean, granted, it was, you know, when you look at that, one person says, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. We can't have that. We have to all be on the same page, starting from our committee and with you guys on the board over here. So I think that's really what I hope I'm saying it right. Yes. But that's why we're coming forward. And if, you know, what's best for our community over there, and that's really what it comes down to. And there's some things that some of us have seen in a game plan that doesn't seem to be like, okay, this looks like it belongs in the suburb of Chicago rather than right here in Rome. So we want to make sure, if that's the case, we're gonna, you know, we'll keep the plan. When we'll just, okay, this is out. and then find something to replace it. And I agree with Cheryl, we got to keep it in the fact where the zoning, and we're not going to keep changing every time somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I want to put a car dealership over there, or I want to put this over there." You know, no, we want to have it like if you go to some of these small towns and you enjoy it. Like, you ever been to this town called, what is it called? Has all the trolls, Mount Horeb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you walk over in a town like that, and it's kind of like, wow. I want something like that effect. This has to be our gemstone. And I think hopefully that's, Jeff and I are on that page. We want to get the board on that page and say, hey, we don't want to have dissension because we get nowhere if we're divided. And that's where we stand.
I think the board needs to get together and discuss this and what our thoughts are going forward. 5 years, 10
Well,
years.
I think if we do that, I'd like to include Stephanie being the chairperson of the committee and say, hey, because she could bring in the thoughts, probably a lot better than me, she could bring in the thoughts from the and the opinions of the committee. Say, okay, this is what we got, this is what we want to do, and even if we just meet, you know, that's why I invite her to come out here and address the board. So let's, you know, I agree with you.
Tiffany, I hate to say it, but I gotta agree with Vito.
I actually kind of do too.
He's talking about the fact that you speak better than me. That's what this guy's trying to say.
At your first meeting, did you have some people bounce ideas off of you? Yeah, but what they're interested in?
We chatted about the zoning that, brought that up. We had Emily there, the picture, the guide, and really wanting to enhance what the 5-year and 10-year goals look like, what that would look like. And we just didn't get to that point in the plan yet. That was yet to come. So I think that's something that we wanted to get a little bit of that direction moving forward, especially now that we have Timberline goes all the way through. Maybe that 5 and 10-year goal concentrates on bringing businesses along that road, and specifically, and then we can grow out from there. So different things like that. This was kind of our first step in just being able to kind of hone in our direction and beautify that guide a little bit.
And as we talked about, there's going to be some things we have to take it like baby steps. I mean, we can't just sit back and say, okay, like we talked about the challenges. Is this going to bring in a parking issue? We talked about that. I mean, how is this going to impact what we do over there? Is this going to be like the Wisconsin Dells? You drive down the street, you want to shoot yourself. So we want to do it. You've been there, pal. Yeah. So we have challenges, and I think if we take it in baby steps and stages, I think we can progress with this.
I had some thoughts too. We have between the RTC, the Plan Commission, and the CDA, you got a lot of brain power. And I'm not saying I want to see this, this, and this. Kind of going even with the baby steps, but what else is out there? Think about oddball things. Again, brainstorming. What do we need? What can we do? Again, going back to your goals, short term, long term.
Right.
But some of the residents have expressed what they think should be in there. Some of them are not realistic.
Right.
Some of them might be.
Yeah.
The thing about having a business there with an apartment above, that was in the original plan we did 10 years ago, I think it was. But it wasn't 40-foot lots. That was an issue.
Yeah.
But overall, but it wasn't the whole thing like that. It was just,
Right.
sporadic somewhat. So again, the people you've got, I think, there's a lot of with experience. I know that. But just what else can we do with that? We're looking for direction from you also. Just,
Yep, and I think those were probably two of the bigger conversations that we had. We actually had a pretty long and great meeting, very productive. And two of those things we're talking about the affordability for businesses and also helping sustain them. We know that we need more affordable living spaces for folks to come in so that we do have those workers. We talked about, again, we have in the past, you know, waitresses, cooks, all those workers that we need to keep all of our businesses running here. And everybody runs into staffing issues, especially as of late, thanks COVID. But that's a big issue here. People don't want to drive, you know, from town where they can rent a house for $1,000, $1,300, and hit a deer, drive 30 minutes back home, and, you know, on their very small salary. That's just not out in a budget for most people. And so having that affordable housing, and that's where that, you know, maybe an apartment on top of a business, and that helps that business owner maintain that affordability throughout the rest of the year. Different things like that we can take into consideration. You know, definitely not a huge conglomeration of them, but it brings opportunity as maybe a developer can bring that in. Now we have a space for a boutique shop to come in, where they can rent that downstairs, and it's affordable for that developer investor to put that whole building there, rent out the top, and have a boutique person in the bottom. It's affordable for them, and it maintains that special. So we don't get a Walgreens. We can have a little boutique grocer or pharmacist, something, those all things that we have heard that we need, but in a large scale, it's not something that's very doable. So just bringing in those kinds of things in the affordable dwelling. Again, looking at, we have like a light industrial zone, knowing that that's not something that we're likely going to fill a whole area with. We're just not in an area that's very conducive to light industrial for folks. So kind of shifting that into, all right, do we make this, you know, kind of that multi-use area where it can be a residential commercial, allowing for that commercial on the bottom, residential on the top. Definitely not a 10-story apartment building though, because we don't want to see those either. So really just trying to hone those in. And I think those are some of those immediate goals and directions we're looking for, or directions that we're looking at, and really wanting to make sure that we're encompassing the board's thoughts as well as we kind of develop those thoughts into the plan.
I mean, years ago, the big thing was senior housing. That's still a big one.
Yeah.
And actually, going back to Derek Smith, he's had some contacts. I discussed a little bit with him, but I haven't heard back from him.
Yeah.
He's had hip surgery, so he's out for a little bit. But there are some opportunities probably there. Again, we run into some of the infrastructure issues, but it's still something to look at for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Carla?
Yeah, and I think I've seen, I've had clients that moved here to retire, but then also moved out because it's not easy for them to take care of their home anymore. But there's not really smaller spaces to go into, maybe not even necessarily an assisted living, but you know, just some of those different opportunities that we have. You go on to a fixed income and you want to stay here where you've been retired, but your fixed income doesn't allow for you to afford that $300,000, $400,000, $600,000 house anymore. So I think there's definite opportunities there in being able to keep our population here.
That senior housing was, at that meeting, was one of the things that, senior housing at the meeting, now senior housing at the meeting was one of those things that we talked about in relation to the zoning. And where it's zoned now, and is that the most appropriate place for that town center? So that was something that, I think that was a big thing we discussed. That was what, you know, direction from the board on that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't in a place that was easily accessible via walking to the major areas of the Rome Town Center area. And so maybe looking at, okay, do we move that development over a little bit and that zoning over where the senior housing maybe isn't over here. Maybe that's a whatever different zone we feel could go back in this corner. Maybe we bring the senior housing over this way a little bit so it's closer and more walkable.
Carl, not that I want any more meetings, but is it possible for the town board to get together with the subcommittee?
Sure.
And just talk about this?
Yeah.
Just
Well, we're
one
meeting again on December 3rd, right?
Yes.
So I tell you what,
Well,
December 3rd.
December 3rd.
Time.
That's your meeting.
What time?
That's the solar farm meeting.
No,
The PSC.
we have a meeting for
December 4th
December 4th.
at 3:30 before the town board meeting at
Okay, I'm
5.
wrong. December
why I have
4th.
my Bible.
Solar farm meeting. I'll leave it go at that.
All right, I got you. Again,
Just
you
so
said with these
the board can get together with a subcommittee.
Oh,
Sit-
that's right, the solar farm, at the PS, okay. All right, so December 4th, what time? I have it written down.
3:30.
What time?
'Cause there's a CDA meeting that day.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at CDA, not RTC. Forget me. Wrong one. RTC is the 10th at 4 p.m.
The 10th.
The 10th at 4
I
p.m.
have it written down at home. All right, this will be after our first December meeting. You want to meet up? You got?
I'm just saying, can we set a meeting for the town board and a subcommittee, sit down at tables and have a discussion about this?
December 10th, you know,
Yep.
make a brainstorm session,
Yeah, December 10th at 4 p.m.
invite, plan commission and not everybody, I mean, but
One of the things that we had talked about at the Parks and Recreation meeting was to do a joint
It's a Wednesday.
committee meeting with Parks, RTC, and CDA. And so, those would be the three groups involved with what's going on over in that town center, along with the board. So I don't know if we'd want to pull them into it as well. It'd be a big group, but
I would just soon keep that meeting small so we get something
Yeah.
accomplished. You get too many people together, we're not gonna get anything accomplished.
well, then
Listen to
maybe
this
put
guy.
a
I won't be there anyways. I'm
a
here
notice
Hawaii.
out there and take in information again, because the more people you get, the more ideas you get. I mean, some of them brainstorms, but
Yeah.
harebrained in some cases, but you start with small and you just work up to it, so,
Yep, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, it's in the Bible, so it's happening.
The objective is to move forward,
Yes, I agree.
okay?
Right.
And that's really what we're doing. So we're taking steps,
Yeah.
okay? It's not like we're throwing them to the ground and say, we don't want to hear what you got to say.
Right, exactly.
Have we looked into other small communities with comprehensive plans and looked at see what they have that might benefit us?
So the master plan, master guide that was created by Patrick Brunner, who that's what he does. So he did take that into account when he built the master plan. That's his job, and he has helped bring those plans into those small communities and large communities alike. So that was all based off of the surveys we did, which we had all were in agreement that we're not doing any more of those. They're not well attended. But we did do those and just taking back some of the feedback, and so that was taken into account in that guide that he built.
Yeah, because sometimes you get some good ideas looking at other communities like that.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
So it's a goal, December 10th?
It works for me.
Okay, you bring the eggnog.
Not spiked. Again, I don't, meeting a couple weeks ago or whatever, we did, one of the things I think we need is still a medical center here, close enough. Possibly attorneys' offices, you need dentists. I mean, start thinking about all the professionals that would serve the people that we have here. So I think there's opportunities that maybe you won't see in other towns, but
Yeah.
but then you drive by some of these other towns that you go by barren, it's barren. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And so we also don't want to be necessarily in competition with
Right.
some things.
Right.
And again, when we did the plan years ago, I mean, we kind of tossed out a lot of the heavy industrial because we just realized it wasn't going to work for us. So
Yeah.
that's why we came up with those sets. And again, if they need to be redone again, do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's just today in seeing the announcement from the meat market and listening to Lisa, I think we definitely in our guide for the RTC area and in those designs just really need to hone in on what can we do to help our shoulder season. It's sad to see that the market is going to close for 3 months because there's so many of us that hate going into town to get anything. Pretzels isn't here, but if you can't get it from the meat market or Quick Trip, I know Dan's not buying it. So, so it's sad to see that close because there is so many of us, but it's a big cost to keep that going. So what can we do to help during the winter season? Well, we need to bring some more businesses and more people staying here and shopping local and staying here during the winter. And I think all of those things will help. We used to have the doctor's clinic, but COVID did that in. So how do we bring those back?
Yeah, I think there's room for a lot of independent sales in town today, and You go by Starbucks and Caribou, there's hardly anybody there. You go to that one box store where they got the, holy cow, it's loaded. So
Yeah.
what are they doing? I mean,
Yes. I mean, I'm on Sweet Sip every day to move over this way.
Yeah.
so I think there's opportunities for other
Yes.
folks.
Yep, absolutely. So, yep, get,
Lisa?
Get so many complaints.
For now, we are fixing it, by the way.
We talk about businesses a lot,
Yeah.
but from what I see here are things that build a sense of community is what people really like. The farmer's market,
Yep.
the brewery, what else?
oh gosh, the concert, anything.
Yeah,
that
the
gets people
concerts.
together.
I mean, I think the Link the Lakes Trail, people are so excited about this. So building a sense of community and ways to recreate and get outside, I think are extremely important to the residents too. I mean, I know we want businesses here, but just wanted to.
And that was one item that we did have in the master guide, was a big sports center. Something where you can do the indoor sports, because I think that's going to be a huge asset in the community, especially during the winter time. What exactly does that look like? We're not sure. I think that comes from, you know, affordability, a developer and investor coming in, maybe working with the Visit Rome, and seeing what we can get in as far as, you know, does this have an indoor racquetball or pickleball swimming area, or is it just a large gym that somebody can do, you know? So just looking at different opportunities, almost like a YMCA. There's a lot of people that go into town for that. So different thing like that the entire community can participate in and enjoy, especially during the winter season.
I drive to Century World to play pickleball.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I drive to Point to play pickleball indoors.
Yeah, they did it. That YMCA they opened down, was it Adams of Friendship? I mean, they're doing very well down
Yeah.
there. So,
Yep, and the new one in Rapids is doing
Yep.
extremely well. That was a facility upgrade that was much needed and has been doing great. So, great.
anybody else have any
December 10th.
thoughts? Open.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you on December 10th.
December 10th.
Thank you.
I have a dog to go feed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Thanks, Tiffany.
All right, 13, discussion and possible action, discussion on an overnight parking ban on municipal lots. Vito?
Well, the reason I brought this up is we've had, it's been reported to me, and I'm sure several of us on the board have seen cars that are parking in municipal lots and even RVs overnight. And it's been on several municipal lots, you know, the library, the what is that, the dog park over there, and the 15th Avenue Beach. And having an ordinance could give the police department a tool to shag them out of here. See, one of the problems is that Walmart now has posted a sign, no overnight parking. And now we have seen an influx. And I think, Jason, you may agree, we have come to an agreement. There's a lure in our parking lots. The lure being in the library is the Wi-Fi. Okay, the lure at the 15th Avenue Beach is the unlocked bathrooms. So we have to sit back and say, do we want these people here? Because really, is it? I mean, people say, well, they're homeless. Well, okay, are they homeless? You have to factor in, is there a criminal element here? Okay, we don't know. You know, when you pull into somewhere and see a guy sleeping in his car, we don't know who it is, what he's up to, and what's going on. So that's why I want to kind of have this ordinance put into effect, and we have to couple this with an overnight parking on the streets, because if you ban them in the municipal lots, then you're going to have these campers out on the streets and people parking because they're finding remote places to park. So one only wonders, okay, you know, what's going on here? And I think it's an endangerment as far as I'm concerned from my background. So what I'd like to do is when I want to put this ordinance into effect, I like to have an hour, like for example, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Nobody parking in the lots from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And of course, we have to establish a fine. And I don't know if we have towing up here. You know, if these people don't want to move, you tow them. But I don't know. But we'll talk about it. And Mark was working on it, trying to find out from other towns what we can draft. And I think Karen was looking at it too. So we'll put this on the table for the next meeting, and then hopefully come up with something. So I'll make that a motion over here.
Give it 2 meetings.
2 meetings. Listen to this guy. Okay, we'll make a motion for the second meeting in December. We'll put it on the agenda, and hopefully we'll have something drafted. We can present it to the board, and Jason will get a copy of it to look at over there.
Who's gonna draft it?
Well, Mark, Karen, and I are looking.
Include Jason on that?
Well, the guy's got to enforce it over there.
Well, yeah,
That's what I said. I said Jason.
and then obviously an attorney, but you can get that.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely.
Sure.
But at least we'll have a rough draft.
Yeah.
We'll have something to start with. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Discussion of possible action, approval of the Town of Rome mobile device policy, discussion of cost and program usage, and possible purchase of cell phones for department heads. Karen, you're up.
Well, this is from, I guess, what, couple meetings back. This is from a few meetings back. And it was just a policy that I had presented. I think it needed more review by the board, so.
What are they currently using?
Well, that's what was kind of in question. I don't know what the mobile device policy is right now. The one that I
I'm not
have.
talking about a policy, but what are they using? Is there like an app on their phone that's encrypted or anything like that
For what do you mean?
for town stuff?
Or they use their
My
own
knowledge
personal
is there's
phone.
an app for
Robbie, can you
things
answer
that
that?
come through on a
So,
regular phone.
We have Solaris 3CX. It is the apps that's given to us through Solaris. We use it on our personal cell phones.
Okay.
It acts as if when we answer a call or make a call from that app, looks like we're right in our office.
Oh, okay.
And based on what I've learned from 3CX and Solaris, it is encrypted and it's secure. And so
Is there an extra cost on that per month?
it's like 10 cents, 15 cents per line.
Oh, okay.
We do not do any messaging out of that, like text messaging.
Right.
We only have internal messaging, which we use in the office.
Okay.
Does that go through the server then?
Yes.
Mark, Jason, do you have that on your cell phones?
We've been using it for over a year now.
What are your thoughts on it?
Works splendidly.
But that's your personal phone, right?
It is my personal phone. The only issue that I've had with it is it works much better if you have Wi-Fi. So if you're in some of the remote areas of town.
Mark,
which
can you
even-
come up to the microphone?
Thank you.
I know.
The 3CX app, has worked very well, for keeping everybody in our communication lines open. And just like any other cell service you would have in town, we have geographical locations that just don't work. It does it on our radio systems with our repeaters, and it does it with any cell service that you've got. But other than that, it enables us to be able to conduct business from anywhere that we're at.
So even if you got lousy service like Verizon or AT&T, this still works?
It does. And it also works, it allows you to, if you have Wi-Fi where you're at, everything's crystal clear.
Let me ask this question here. On the cell phone that he has over there, like Jason has, Robbie and Mark, if there becomes an investigation, they're gonna take their personal cell phone, right?
Correct.
So wouldn't it be better off to have a cell phone issued by the town? Whereas if I am conducting an investigation, I mean, there's probably things on your cell phone you don't want me to see.
If you want it, you can have it.
But you know what I'm getting at. I mean, because whether it be a civil lawsuit or a criminal investigation, I mean, they have the right to subpoena.
I personally do not do any email from my personal cell phone. That is this our email is I use my email limited to the computer system. So I use it for voice. So I can when if I'm out in the field and I'm conducting inspections or I can call one of our residents from my office phone remotely. So it doesn't show up Mark Payne calling person A. It shows up Town of Rome Fire Department calling this person.
Does that system allow you to text, or you just don't text?
I just don't do.
It does allow, we just chose to not have the texting,
Okay.
because we'd have to pay more.
Oh, so you can't text on it right now?
We can text internally,
Yeah.
not externally.
Oh, so but it goes through the server, and I'm guessing then the server has a record of all that. So that's your protection. They won't subpoena the phone, they'll subpoena the records, and that's here separate, so that's a different issue.
Yep.
Mark?
Thanks, Mark.
Do you have a policy on cell phone?
We do have a cell phone policy with the fire department. It is with all of the rest of our Lexipol policies. None of our people have. I'm the only one in our department with the 3CX app. And all of our members, slash volunteers slash employee, none of them have access to that system, and also none of them use their cell phone for town email.
How long have you been using Lexipol policies?
I think the fire department is on year 3 or 4.
What do you think? What was the cost on the cell phones? Do you have that? Does it beat
Yeah, I
10
have it at my desk. It
Does it beat
runs
10 cents?
roughly, it depends on which company, but it runs roughly 30 to, what I think when Jason had taken a look at the, what is it called, First Net, whatever it is with AT&T. I can't think of what it's called.
We have FirstNet for the air cards in the car. FirstNet's $50 a line regardless if it's an air card or a phone or whatever, but that's just for law enforcement and
Yeah.
fire and EMS.
Yeah, so we kinda looked at that already, and that's not a plan that I could get on. But, like AT&T, I think I looked at Verizon, they all roughly run about $40 a line.
Just for clarification for the board and the 3CX, none of the data is stored on our server here. It is stored on Solaris's servers up in their building, just like your regular, because that 3CX is part of the town phone system
Okay.
with the desk phones, so the servers are all owned by Wood County and all the items are there. And as far as your personal phones now, the laws are changing so fast. 5 years ago, for investigations, would take people's personal phones. It was very easy to get a warrant and get the data off of it. Those days have changed with all these encrypted apps because the data is stored somewhere else now.
You have a cell phone policy and a computer policy, correct?
Yes,
Through Lexipol.
correct.
How long have you been with Lexipol? With,
2021, I believe.
okay, and did you give a presentation to the town board back in September 2024 regarding government Lexipol policies?
Yes, we approved that then for the town.
The board approved it at that time for the town.
Correct.
Okay.
What's the benefit for the government as opposed to police and fire? It makes a lot of sense for you guys, but I don't know anything about it for government.
The digital, the biggest benefit I see with the policy, the police policies are geared right towards Wisconsin law, but the second, I kind of look at it as a two-phased. You got the policy portion of it, and you got the implementation of it. It's electronic versus the old paper sign-off. I can look at a dashboard and it shows red and green lights of who's reviewed the policy, who hasn't, so keeping track of who's actually acknowledging the policy that they've read it, which we've had issues here in the past. That's part of the reason that I mentioned this to the board when we got it before, was people had said, well, I didn't see that policy. I didn't know that one existed with the old-fashioned sign off. It also gives you a comparison. If you change something, you can see what it said, and it highlights what changed in it and what's new before the employee signs off on it.
When you were at interim administrator, did you start implementing the government Lexipol policies?
Yes, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you how many were implemented, but one came to the town board for approval that
The dress code?
addressed how they were gonna be laid out and approved, like fiscal policies would have to be approved by the board before implementation. Stuff dealing with employee benefits, et cetera.
But after you stepped down, nobody has touched those policies?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can we get a copy for the board to look at? I have no idea what it does.
Absolutely.
So,
Electronically, or, I don't know, think you want to print out that whole
No.
electronic would be fine. yeah.
electronic?
Electronic,
Sure.
yeah.
You familiar with
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Police and fire, I know. Government, that's after I retired. I don't know anything about the government policies.
All right, let's go back to the cell phones. There was any more further conversation on that? Do you still need a cell phone?
Well, I have my personal phone, but I am not inclined to use my personal phone for business.
Okay,
Because they do become discoverable devices, so.
Yeah, I with that app, I guess. it
Best
would-
practices are, and any attorney would tell you, that you really don't wanna have those mixing.
Well, if you need a cell phone, Karen, I think the town can provide you with a cell phone.
I agree.
I don't think we need Mark and Jason, Robbie, Emily. I don't think they need a town-issued cell phone, as long as they use that app.
Well, a lot of times they're here and they got a landline anyhow.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly here anyways, but.
Yeah, but you're
in the
traveling
event
too.
that-
Yeah. All right. So you want to make a motion?
As far as what now?
Cell phones.
Should have phone.
Okay. I'll make a motion to let the town administrator get a cell phone for town business.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Is there limits or things you're going to put on those? How much gigabytes you going to use? And there's different plans out there. Can you get some plans, bring the prices back?
I'd leave it up to Karen.
Yeah, go
I mean,
ahead.
I got it on my desk, like I said,
Leave it up
You're
to
right,
Karen.
you're right.
35 to 40 bucks is what the
Yeah,
line is.
all right, just, figure, get your best one and go with it. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Discussion and possible action, discussion regarding the town attorney and Rome police chief to work with the state and any other property owners for restrictions on ATV, UTV, snowmobiles, golf carts, and the links to the lakes, tunnel, bridge over 14 Mile Creek, and all walking paths on various owned properties. Again, it's an interesting one. I guess you're gonna have fun doing that, but we do have to come up with a policy, and it's nice having Lisa here, because we know this ATVs, snowmobiles, and golf carts aren't gonna be on there. Is there anything else? I mean, you wanna write up a policy where these can't go on there and these can, or, I mean, it's kinda hard to define, rollerblades. Good luck.
Can we put little sign, can't we just
Like-
put no motorized vehicles?
Well, is
you gotta
electric
have
bike,
limits.
is electric bikes okay? I mean, that's a bike, right?
Well, there's two classifications on e-bikes, and you can put a speed limit on,
Well, right,
yeah.
but
It's up to the direction of the board. I did talk with our prosecuting attorney. he said the way the state laws are written now, which we already adopt with our ordinance, that ATV, snowmobile, and golf cart would be out. Now, if you wanted a speed limit for e-bikes and other stuff, that would be ordinance that would have to be created if,
But the
but
state,
his opinion is right now that it's enforceable as it is. He recommends putting the signage up that Lisa said they were looking at to make it very clear, no snowmobile, ATV, or
Can you enforce any of that on the property that we're sharing with, or the lease? I mean, that's not state property, so how does that work?
he says yes.
Okay.
Lisa, are you
that
guys
he
gonna
would
put those
prosecute it.
poles up? To
Other
prevent these
than-
things?
The pillars
Yeah,
in front of the tunnel? No. We were advised not to by the engineers.
by who?
Said it's not.
The
good
engineers.
practice.
Okay, so it would, I would think it would aid Jason here, you know, so it would stop people from driving their golf carts and ATVs, and if you got the poles up, right?
But you'd also have people hitting it on bikes. Especially because they're coming around corners. We were advised it's not good practice to put those up in front of the tunnel.
No, you can always throw spike strips out, right?
I would think we'd have to use officer discretion. We talked about it, the property that's owned by a homeowner, if they're out there doing work on their own property and happen to be on that easement portion of the trail, certainly the officers aren't gonna write them a ticket for doing their own work on their own piece of property. But our attorney was comfortable with the way things sit now for those three things: ATV, snowmobile, and golf cart. If we're gonna start doing speed limits with things or other stuff, that would have to be looked into further and ordinance created.
I think the state does have something going on that anyway, don't they, with certain e-bikes, if they're over a certain 750 something or other, I don't know if it's, I don't know, I don't. What do you think?
I mean, I think some put speed limits up, some don't.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I don't see with our population, they're gonna be going
Yeah.
30 miles an hour.
okay.
I don't think so either. There's, I mean, I bought an e-bike and I'm not gonna go that fast with it. Believe me, I'm not gonna go that fast.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's not so much the speed, but the state of Wisconsin, any e-bike over 750 watts actually has to be registered as a motor vehicle. So it's no longer an e-bike, it's actually considered, you have to license it and that just like a car. That's over 750 watts.
So then the no motorized vehicle sign would apply.
would apply to them.
Yeah.
It would apply.
Yeah. So then that'd be officer discretion. They could stop, they could fine them as well then.
You had to make it difficult, didn't you? Just kidding. All right, so,
People are out in droves using this trail.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of people on it.
yeah, there's been a lot of positive comments out there, so, okay, so Jason, we're good, we don't, no action?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Okay.
all righty.
Carl, can we go back to number 14? We needed to make a decision on the mobile device policy.
We're gonna get it sent to us, though. We don't have it.
No policy.
We don't have the policy yet on the Lex poll.
Okay.
Yeah, get that sent out to us so we can read it
Okay.
and see what we're talking about. All right, 16, discussion possible action, roles and responsibilities of town employees, the town board, and others such as committee members, and just want to bring it up and make clarification on things. We've been operating here some months without direction and things. I just want to make sure that everybody knows the board is here for policy and, you know, basically support of the folks. But we have a town administrator now, and again, if anybody in the town has a question come up, any board members available anytime, except 3 in the mornings, kind of pushing it. However, as far as board members going back to the department heads, we shouldn't be doing that. I try not to. It's just, go back if you got a citizen question or something like that, but any questions if you have along that line, go through Karen. And any emails and all, like, like some of the boards, the committee members, you got something to go to somebody else, fine, but make sure Karen gets copied. We want to make sure she's included on things. But our roles, just make sure everybody understands our roles. It's let these folks do their work. If it's really important, we got to handle it now. If it's not, we can handle it at a board meeting. Bring it up at a board meeting, and at the next board, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road, we can get our answers. So, sorry.
Sorry, I said bless you because she's about ready to go.
No, do it on cue. I'll let you know. Anyway,
But we're not preventing town employees from contacting a board member.
We're available. It's what can we help you with?
Yep.
So, and same thing as if a customer comes in, they got full access to anybody. So,
If it's an issue, if a town employee contacts me, and if it's an issue that I don't think I should be handling, I'm going to refer that person back to the town administrator.
yeah, that'd be the first question. Have you talked to Karen?
Yep.
Yeah. So, pretty simple. All right. 17, discussion and possible action, wake boat discussions. About 110 pages or something on this packet. It was all wake boat issues. I was just doing more studies, looking at studies. Some are current. There's still one that's 2021. But I do want to make sure people are aware of when it comes down, when we start looking at what we have to do. I still get sporadic calls from folks on where we're at on it, why we haven't done anything. But again, it's one of those things, walk slowly. But we've been working with the Last Wilderness Alliance, and they've, 59 or 60 towns they've passed ordinances with. I think they're all wake manipulation bans. But I just want to throw something else out there, too. The folks on their, the 25 member, whatever they call themselves, they suggested that they go down the center of the lake with a 200-foot setback from shore, but everything I've read, 200 foot's not going to cut it. And some of the things they put out there, just for advertising, there was one where the guy, and I didn't post this one yet, but I will, the guy's bragging about how he's riding a wave, and the boat's off on the horizon, you can barely see it. So it isn't 200, it's way out there. Some of the ones I've read were 700. I think that's too far, but we have to look at it and come up with some honest and reasonable decisions on how we want to handle it. And again, if you guys think it's a manipulation ban, fine, or maybe there's something we could do like a certain area if it makes sense. But it's got to make sense both ways.
Is there? I'm sorry. I was just going to ask if there. This references multiple times the phase 2 study. Is there a phase 2 study? I haven't seen it yet.
It was in the packet.
Phase 2 was in there? Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a bit going on. There are more. There's a couple I didn't use. I forgot the lake they used, and it was a shallow lake. And that didn't make sense.
And some of the boats they used, at 25 horsepower on the back of a boat. Really, on the back. Why would you? That is one of the smallest motors, and it's not. Of course, it's not going to cause a weight.
They did all different kinds for to get you some ideas. Yeah. But now,
it's a 97 pontoon with a 25 horse. There are 200 horsepower pontoons out there, and if they're going to actually do a study that's any value, I think it needs to be updated. These boats that they used are not valued.
No, some of them are. Yeah, they're using ski boats.
And they're also only using at planing speeds, and they actually should do those boats all at all fiberglass, everything going really slow at about maybe 10 miles an hour, and see what kind of a wake they're dragging.
They've done that. But the thing is,
not in any of these.
Most people don't ride their boat that way. You know that because you're going to kill your gas. You either get on plane or you just tooting the
I run into it all the time, especially going through the channel, and then, of course, because it's no wake, but they're still doing it. I see boats going down the water like this all the time. I'm like, I don't know why the hell they're doing that.
Look at the Michigan study. That was a big one in Lake Beulah. Those are the two big ones.
Yeah.
And they are not 25 footers. Now you got 25-foot Mastercraft out there with 630 horsepower.
Yeah.
And you look at the waves on those things.
And they're only getting bigger. The boats are only getting. Same with the pontoons and the fishing boats.
There are pontoons out there now that will have wake manipulation devices also.
You don't even need one. You can actually surf behind my pontoon if I wanted to.
Anyway, I'm putting it out there for information, and if I find positive on the other side, I'll put it out there. But I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
We had those folks, they did their presentation here, but it was all opinions.
Yeah.
They really brought no facts.
Okay.
Carol, just so everybody knows, I think I've been working with Last Wilderness Alliance, Fred Silloway.
Yeah.
He's from Wapaka. He is drafting an ordinance for the town of Rome. I haven't got it yet, but as soon as I get it, and I don't think it's going to be a ban on the boat.
It can't, it
No,
really
no.
can't.
No,
Can't be a
it's-
ban on the boat.
It can't, so.
they limit the ballast and the other fin. I call them fins off the sides. But as soon as I get that ordinance,
You mean lifting strikes?
I don't know what you call them.
Okay.
But he's limiting that. It'll address that.
Okay, because lifting strikes are on all tri-tunes and stuff like that, so you might want to make sure that you know the terminology of what it is. I'm a boat person, sorry.
I'm gonna come to you.
Sorry.
No, I don't.
And it'll cause a big problem if you
Yeah.
don't get it right.
Yes,
Right.
we're taking our time. That makes
That's
sense.
nothing we don't have to rush on this.
No.
We got till spring, hopefully,
Yeah.
It might be
and then we gotta have our attorney look it over too.
Yeah, and just an FYI, I got a call from our attorney because he got a call from their attorney wondering what the hell we're doing tonight. And so, have him come and see. You know, probably watching. Hi. But we're just gonna keep promoting it. We got to do something because getting complaints and
Yep.
we've had issues. So,
Yes.
Yeah. So no action on that. But go ahead and read through these. It is 110 pages, I think. Sorry about that, but it's pretty complex. And there is one I posted on the last time and 2 meetings ago about it's a physics study. That one's really interesting. It defines how it works, and you really see the what's involved in there and the difference in wakes. There is a difference. They say there isn't, but there is.
Absolutely,
So,
but it also, that same difference comes from people that don't go up on plane.
yeah, but who does that? I mean, down the channel, yeah, but out in the middle of the lake, nah. I mean, you watch your gas gauge.
You'd be surprised.
Anyway, okay. 18, discussion only ideas for expanded use of Channel 300. Right now, it's Firewise, couple meetings, Firewise. I mean, it's, what else? And no answers tonight. Just think about it. Bring back the next meeting. Let's brainstorm, see what else we can use it for. I did check with our attorney, Vinny, and we can use YouTube videos. He didn't see an issue there as long as it's nonprofit.
Can you put town events on there?
Sure. And I, one of the things I'll just throw something out there. I thought maybe
Yeah,
we put a video of each business. We go through the businesses and say, we run a half an hour, 15, whatever. Put some. You can handle that for us.
The Visit Rome schedule that she puts out with the list, put that out there so people see that the events
yeah.
are coming up.
Yeah. I mean, we're staffed now and we got access to it, right? Not you. But,
Is it?
It's actually not as easy as it seems.
well, we'll have to make it easy somehow.
Carlos, is that something we can put like the solar farm?
Oh yeah, I'd like.
On
I'd
Channel
mention
300?
actually the one from the Escondido fire down in San Diego. I'd like to see that one on there because that one's pretty explicit. So there's a lot that can go on there, but promote the town. Deals, Sand Valley, what's going on there with like the pond hockey,
Put on 300?
Yeah. And we'll promote. I mean, anybody can access it through the town too. So, just thoughts, brainstorm, see what you come back with.
Okay.
Got to do something with it. Another one. Again, I was pushing Jamie on before, but tie in with. We used to show the school board meetings on there too, and then go down to the Humane Society Pet of the Week. I don't know. Brainstorm. There's a lot you can do with it.
We haven't shown the school board meetings in quite a while.
Yeah, I know. Gee, I wonder why. Anyway. Thoughts? Interviews with our department heads. Introduction. Employees. Why not? So, anyway, come back with the thoughts. Appreciate it. Next agenda items.
I have many.
I'm sorry, and I left off solar farms, but we will.
I have one I'd like to put on there.
Let me put solar farm on.
Yeah.
I'm first.
Oh, you're first. Go for it.
We have Wade's resolution, fee schedule resolution, appointing election inspectors, a recommendation from the Park and Rec Committee.
My turn.
Yeah, your turn.
I like that in you. When I was campaigning, I I had a number of residents, especially on the west side of town, I won't say which lake, but it begins with a P, about the noise or abatement. And I'm referring to like bands playing at night and people, and I like to kind of review our noise ordinance, and if that needs to be changed, I've reached out to ex-town supervisor, and we're gonna meet up with Karen, because this needs to be addressed. And I made a promise to somebody about that, and I wanna address this.
Jason, just for a bar's gonna have a band outside, do they have to require to get a permit?
See, that could be addressed. Because the issue that I found is sometimes when you call these places, they sit back and they blame the band. In other words, if you're gonna, a citation, say, oh no, we didn't do it, it's the band. So we have to kind of, and I know sometimes your guys carry this
Yeah,
decibel reader.
hold on, you're right. It's,
We'll put it on the next update.
yeah,
Put it on the
Okay.
next one.
this-
That's
All right,
too much.
there's
all
no
right.
discussion at the moment, so. What else? Anybody think of anything, Karen?
Off the top of my head right now,
Yeah, or whenever, you know.
no, but
Okay.
things come up.
I'll try and keep it less than 200 on the packet, though.
Please, thank you.
But depends what I find. Yeah, I can't help it, so. All right.
1,000-page packet. We've had those before.
Yeah, well, didn't have to look at the whole thing, but there's a lot of good info. All right, next meeting date and time.
December 4th, 5 PM.
And we're gonna, Ellers is gonna be here, right, for that one? Is that one?
No, that's the
12th?
20th.
Second one. He's on the second
It's
one.
the 18th. I think it's the 18th.
Who's coming on the second?
Ehlers.
Ellers.
Eller's the financial advisor.
Oh, okay.
A motion for adjournment?
I'll do that.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.